All right. So my audio is coming out pretty clear. Is that right?
Yep.
Oh, right. Wonderful. I do not have much of a voice because I teach music classes and singing classes as well. So I don't have a much of a voice from yesterday. Hello, Stephanie. Hello, Diana. It's good to see you guys. Rock on.
How you
Man,
been?
I'm so excited. I mean, we're going to become like family, at least some of us, you know what I mean? Some of you guys might be like, I don't even like this guy, and that's quite all right. You know what I mean? I may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I'm somebody's cup of tea. So I will just enjoy that. But we are just coming up on 7 o'clock and stuff. So we're just going to just give a few moments just in this first session. I want to respect people's time. So we're normally going to start right at 7. We will end at 8 o'clock. Hey, John Mark. Oh, my gosh. Dude, we're talking 30 years knowing this guy. Rock on. And he is here in the house. That is amazing. So, but normally we're going to start right at 7 o'clock. We will end at 8 o'clock. And then we'll open it up for question and answers. And Diana and Stephanie can attest to this. Sometimes those question and answers will go for 20 minutes. Sometimes they'll go for a half hour. Sometimes they'll go for an hour. Sometimes they'll go for 2 hours. I can talk about story all day long, all day, every day. I love talking about story. So the more we talk and engage in regards to our stories, the more I'm just going to latch on to you, and we'll talk back and forth, and ideas will come forth. And I'm telling you, things will come to life in your minds in regards to the things that you're trying to write and work on. So I'm super, super excited. So we're just going to go ahead and get started since it's 7 o'clock right now, because again, I want to respect your guys' time. Today is going to be kind of more of a free-for-all. And just to let you guys know, I talk fast. I get excited and I just go for it. That's who I am. It's how I am designed. So if you guys aren't following, and just feel free to stop me, feel free to ask questions. And I love interaction. So I don't know how many people are going to be jumping in today, but I absolutely love interaction. I love engaging with people. So those of you guys that are comfortable engaging, please do so. I'm going to try to turn this chat on real quick. Those of you guys that are not comfortable doing that, then, you know, feel free to just kind of chill, relax, and enjoy yourself. This is going to be a fun journey. This is going to be a fun ride. So my name is Trevor L. Smith, and I'm not going to talk too much about myself because this class is not about me. It's about you. Now, if you're getting something from it, you're going to be glued. You're going to be excited. You're going to be the one that's saying, hey, can we go a little bit longer than 8 o'clock? Can we go to 8:30? Can we go to 9? Can we go to 10? As long as I got time, I am here for you guys, you know? So that I'm excited about, but I am an author. I am a screenwriter. I'm a filmmaker. So you guys that are writing projects to make them yourself, man, we're on the same page. Rock on. So if you're thinking about self-producing your own projects, I can help you with getting things streamlined so you're not going crazy outside your budget, because I've done 3 projects on my own, and it's an amazing experience. So for you guys that are pursuing the writer, director type of role, man, I'm telling you, we're right on the same page. I will let you guys know this in advance. I'm a little crazy. I'm a little out there. I teach these sessions, but normally I'm used to working with people live classes, being in front of people. But obviously with COVID, pandemic, and all that kind of stuff, a lot of things have moved to online. So this is still something that I'm trying to get used to in regards to communicating and working with people online. I'm more so used to working with people in person. It's easier to hold people accountable when you're working with them in person. And I like to hold people accountable. So I'm going to do my best to hold you accountable for the goals that you are trying to reach. Does that make sense? Is that cool with everybody? So if you're jumping in this class and you said, I'm going to stay in this class and I'm going to hang out with this guy, I want to try to hold you guys accountable to the goals that you have set for yourself. Okay. So once again, you know, I write, I produce, I do filmmaking. I'm a martial arts instructor. I've trained international champions in martial arts, and I teach music, not like John Mark. John Mark teaches classical music and singing, and he's got all the bells and whistles. You put down anything in front of him, he will play it instantly, even if he's not familiar with that. I'm not that guy. What I teach is my own approach to music and whatnot, but it's effective and successful because it's how I define success. You guys understand that? So with my first question to you guys is, what is successful to you? What is it that you guys are trying to accomplish? So since I'm going to be recording these sessions, I have the chat recorded. So if you want to just jot down in the chat what you're trying to accomplish, what you guys are working on. If you don't have an idea of what it is that you're wanting to work on, then please let me know. Send me an email, hook up with me in the Legacy Street Writers group, and then we can focus on getting your idea and trying to streamline what it is that you guys are trying to accomplish. But you guys, I want to hear from you. We don't have too many people in the class right now. What are you guys trying to accomplish? No talkers in the house. Do I have to unmute everybody, or you guys can unmute yourself, right? All right, to write a screenplay to my own satisfaction, completed projects. That's awesome. Anybody else? All right, fantastic. I'd like to learn how to apply ideas onto real paper. Gamified martial arts classes. Gamified martial arts classes. Is that what you're saying, Chris?
Yeah, that's what we're doing. Yep.
Rock on. Awesome. Write and direct my films. Very, very cool. All right. Wonderful. This is what we're going to do now. We're going to be a little bit more specific, because this is what I find in people that I work with across the board is they're not just wanting to complete a screenplay. They're wanting to complete a screenplay for a purpose. That's the goal. Not just to finish a screenplay. That's just a part of your guys' journey. I want you guys to think about this. Me, I am all about mindset, and I am all about story. So we're going to focus on story. We're going to focus on mindsets that would prevent us from finishing and completing our projects. And then we're going to get to the mechanics of screenwriting, because I can honestly tell you this. The mechanics of screenwriting is not as difficult as a lot of people believe. Did you guys hear that? The actual mechanics of screenwriting, and I will just throw this out there real quick. How many of you guys are trying to write a book, or you want to be an author? Anybody? You could just throw it in the chat. Gotcha. Okay, awesome. Well, this is what you guys are going to get out of this, because I am an author. I've written 2 books, but the story element of writing, whether it's writing a screenplay or writing a book, it's the actual mechanics obviously are different, but the storytelling is the same. Okay, we're going to go through an outline process. I do outline, and I recommend people outline. And I know there's arguments on both sides of the fence of outlining 3-act structure, 4-act structure, 7-act structure, all these different things. Whatever. Okay, whatever. You have to find what works for you. So I'm going to show you my process for screenwriting, my process for writing my books, and I call it the easy approach to screenwriting, or the easy approach to storytelling. Easy, easy, easy. Because everything that I do, I chunk it down into its simplest form. And so since I'm not going to be worrying about slides and anything right now, screen sharing and stuff, because I'm just getting into the mechanics of all this Zoom stuff, because I'm used to doing it live, I just want to focus on talking right now, and then we'll worry about the slides for you visual learners. We'll worry about that stuff later. It'll come, okay? But so the mechanics is not that difficult. If you look at the structure of a screenplay, there's only so many elements. You have character, you have your scene headings, you have your parentheticals, you have your transitions, you have a couple of different elements, but that's it. Once you know where everything goes, the story is the most important part. Because you can have a great manuscript for you authors. You can have a great manuscript. You can have a great screenplay formatted. But if your story sucks, what's the point? Nobody's going to say, oh, man, that was just awesome formatting. Hello, right? So what our focus is going to be on story, how you tell a great story, the mechanics of telling a great story, the foundation of telling a great story. And just in case you guys don't know, because I really do focus a lot on mindsets, how many of you guys are just kind of starting out for your first time? This is your first go at it for storytelling, writing a book, writing a screenplay. You know, you can either shoot your hand up or put it in the chat, whatever, because I'll review the chat later so I can see what your goals are and stuff. But how many of you, your first time kind of start setting out to do something? All right, so we got a few of you. This is something that I want you guys to know, and it's very important. These are things that I want you guys to get on the inside of you. But you are a natural born storyteller. Like literally, you are a natural born storyteller. You have been telling stories your entire life. Some of your stories suck. You want to know why? It's because people don't want to listen to us. When people are anxious to get away from us in conversation, that means they're not engaged in your story, whatever it is. You guys can be listening to me right now and saying, dang, I don't want to listen to him. It's cool, okay? Because I'm not for everybody, right? But here's the deal. When you were born, you were telling stories. When you came out of your mom's womb, you were told us you were telling a story. When you were, C-section, you were telling a story. And I want you guys to think about this and really get it on the inside of it to where you are saying, I'm a natural born storyteller. You're at the very least gonna leave this session saying, I'm a natural born storyteller. Because when you came out, you were either screaming at the top of your lungs, which is awesome. And because you were screaming at the top of your lungs, the doctor's excited, mama's excited, whoever's waiting in the waiting room is excited. You were telling a story. The only story you can tell, making it verbal, making it vocal. You were screaming. That was a great sign. When you came out and you were not saying anything, you were sending another message. You guys hear what I'm saying? You were sending a message to the doctor saying something might be wrong. So from the moment you were born, you were telling stories. And if you came out silent, at least back in the old days, you know what I mean? They would give you a good swat. Now they kind of just massage you a little, hard and, kind of dig in to try to make you cry. Okay. That's what they do nowadays. But back in the day, you get a little swat so that you could start telling your story, so that you could start crying, so that mom is relieved. Mom is excited. You see how you affected your audience from the moment you set foot on this earth. Set foot, get that? That's funny. You weren't standing. See, I'm sorry. I think I'm funny. But anyway, but from the moment you came out, you were telling these stories. And if something was wrong, your audience, your parents, whoever it is that was waiting for you, the doctors, they start running around in the emergency, in the room, code blue, code red, whatever it is that they do. And they're trying to fix whatever problem because your story was saying something is not right and something needs to be fixed. Does that make sense, you guys? So get that on the inside of you. As you were growing up, you continue to tell stories, okay? We might be boring as all get out when we tell our stories, but the fact still remains. You've always been telling stories. Now, this is where story instructor comes in, okay? Now, at this moment, I want you guys to go ahead and do this for me and write down these 4 words, okay? I don't have no slides, whatever, I don't care. I don't have no slides. You guys are big boys and girls. You guys can listen. Write down the word experience, okay? Write down the word experience. Now, write down the word express. Fantastic. Now write down the word extract. Extract. And the last word, embody. Write down the word embody. Hello, Helen. It is good to see you, my friend. Rock on. So we have those 4 words: experience, express, extract, and embody. Didn't matter how many books I've read, doesn't matter how many videos I've watched, doesn't matter how many classes and workshops I've attended. This has always been my foundation for doing anything creative. Teaching martial arts, teaching music the way that I teach it, not the way John Mark teaches it, but teaching music, teaching, encouraging people in their singing, because I'm not a professional singer, John Mark is, but anything that I teach, I break it down to its simplest form. There's nothing that I learned from any screenwriting book, any video, any workshop, nothing that did not encompass one of those 4 elements. So when I'm writing my screenplay, because I'm going to show you my process for writing screenplays or writing a story, I'm going to teach you my process. Now, here's the deal. You need to figure out what your process is. And maybe this process may work for you, but maybe it may not work for you. And so the key here is to start seeing the parts of the process that do work for you, taking out those elements that don't work for you and replacing them with something that does work for you. Did you guys catch that? So I'm going to show you a process as we go through this. And if you says, well, that don't work for me, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to do that. You don't even have to listen to me. If what you're doing works for you, continue to do that. If you're getting the results that you want, you continue to do what it is that you're doing. As long as you're getting the results that you want, as long as you are finding success. Okay, does that make sense? So I'm going to show you guys my process, and I'm going to just talk briefly, since this is our first session, I'm going to talk briefly just about those 4 words, but I just want to real quick go back to the element of success, because I did hit on it before. Some people said, I just want to complete my screenplay. Well, that is a definite goal. That's amazing, because a lot of people set out to complete their screenplays or complete their stories, and they never finish. Years and years and years. And some of you guys may be able to relate to that. If you're in this class and you decide to stick with it, you're going to finish your project, period, because I will come after you, because you're part of my success story. And if you're not being successful, then that reflects on me. Man, I took that dude's class and I didn't get nowhere. That's crazy. I don't want you saying that about me. So I want to hold you accountable to make sure that you reach that level of success that you want, even if it's just to lay the foundation. For you guys that are working on the longer stories, the longer screenplays, or the longer, like you want to write a book, you know, you may not finish that in this 3 weeks time, but you may lay the groundwork for you to be able to continue on. I would encourage everybody, if you don't already have an idea of the story that you're wanting to tell, I would encourage you to focus on a short story. Okay. But here's the deal. When I first wrote my first screenplay back in 2004, when I first wrote my first screenplay, people encouraged me, write a short film. You've never done it before. Just write a short, write a short. The thing is, I didn't have a short film that was going on in my mind. I didn't have a short film that was going on in my heart. So I said, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to set out and I'm going to write a feature film. Once I wrote that feature film, I said, you know what? I want to shoot this. I want to learn filmmaking. So that's what I did. And this is the words that I got from everybody. This is like, I'm just encouraging you to be rebellious, okay? But this is what everybody was telling me. Have you ever shot anything before? No, I have not. You know, then you might want to work on a short film because it's a very hard process. Yes, it is a difficult process. So constant, after everybody that I met with said, well, you can't really do that. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. But guess what? Nobody puts baby in the corner. Nobody tells me what I can and cannot do. And I want to encourage you to be the same way. So I'm encouraging you to write a short, but if you have it in your heart and in your mind to write a feature film, then you go ahead and you write your feature film. Don't listen to me, right? So this is what I said after everybody was telling me, everybody that's been there, done that, telling me, you can't do a feature film on your own. I was like, watch me. That's that rebellious spirit that I got. I said, watch me, because I sat down with someone that says, well, who's going to play these roles? I said, they are. They said, it doesn't work that way. I had a lot of police in my screenplay. So they said, who's going to play these cops? You know, I said, I'm going to get real cops. Whatever. I didn't know it didn't work that way, but still, I said, I'm going to get real cops. And they were like, it don't work that way. We need to go out and we need to rent cars and we need to rent uniforms and we need to do all this other kind of stuff. So that's what I was told. I'm teaching you guys how to be rebellious, right? So that's what I was told. But I said, oh no, I'm going to get real police officers. And you know what I did? I shot my movie on my own and I did all the fixings, wrote it, directed it, produced it, shot it, edited it, did the DVD label for it, got international distribution, was picked up by Netflix and Blockbuster on this camera right here. This is my little monument. my little Panasonic DVX100 standard definition camera. And you know what everybody was asking me? This is the only camera we use. They said, how many cameras did you have? You know, I said one. They were like surprised because of all the different camera angles that I was doing. You know what I mean? I was milking it. I know when a shot looks good. So I just milked it and milked it and milked it. And I did that throughout the whole course. But everybody was telling me I couldn't do it. And you know what I did is I went to a bunch of different police stations, and they invited me to their police union thing where they had 50 different departments. And the West Sacramento Police Department says, you can come film at our place. The chief of police said, you can film in my office. Hello, I didn't have to find no props. I didn't have to find no uniforms. I was hitting up every police officer that I saw saying, hey, you want to be in my movie? I want to film you. And they were like, we can't, we're on duty, but you can go into our locker room and you can use our uniforms. What? We shot in their motor pool. We shot in their crime lab. Hello, that's better than any prop you're going to go and buy, right? I'm teaching you to be rebellious, okay? So I'm encouraging to write a short film, but if you already have it in your mind that this is a feature film that I want to work on, whether you're just starting it or whether it's something that you're just trying to continue and maybe get some nuggets from this class, I promise you, you will get some nuggets. I'm going to be starting at the beginning, you know, and kind of go through the process. So for you guys that have experience with writing, you'd be like, oh, I heard all this, then whatever. You know what I mean? If you're getting something, hang out. If you're not, right? Go ahead and turn it off. I won't be offended. I promise you, because I'm comfortable with who I am. So I want to encourage you guys, be rebellious, do whatever it is that you have in your heart and your mind to do. And I will encourage that. I will support you with that. Okay. Does that make sense, you guys? Everybody good? Awesome. Because I do talk fast. If you guys got any questions, please let me know. And Stephanie and Diana know I rarely look at the chats because they fly by so fast, and then they will stop me and say, hey, Trevor, somebody's got a question, you know?
There's one here.
What's that?
There is a question here. Did you have to get permits for the police departments when you worked with them?
No, you know what? Nowadays, absolutely, 100%. But back then when I shot that, I didn't get nothing. I didn't have anything. I didn't know anything. I was just rebellious. I was just like, I'm going to go and do it. And I went and did it. And that's what I encourage you guys to do. Make those phone calls that people tell you not to make, not the ones that's going to get you blacklisted for sure. But nobody told me that I wasn't supposed to call agents and actors directly, but I did. And I end up, and I'm on the phone with Jack Black's agent, and I'm saying, hey, here's the story that I want to tell. And they were like, oh, we would be very interested in your story. Hello, because nobody told me that's not the process you take. That's not how you're supposed to go about doing it. Sally, you got something?
Yeah, I was the one that asked that question. And the reason I asked that question is because I went to San Francisco State Film School, and it's very much, we did guerrilla filmmaking, but the cops in San Francisco, and I would think in Sacramento, were pretty savvy about permits. Like, I get if you went to, I don't know, Timbuktu, and they were like starstruck. Oh, I want to be in a movie. But every cop that I've ever talked to, you're kind of like run from them because you don't have permits.
Gotcha.
And I'm all about like, let's score the, do it underhanded. But when you work directly with the police, that's very interesting to me that they didn't ask you, do you have a permit? Can you get a permit to work in our police station? Nope,
did not ask for anything. But I am not encouraging anybody to go out and break the law or permits. Here's the deal. In West Sacramento, their actual policy now, because that was back in 2004, so things certainly could have changed. But the last time that I filmed, and this was as far as a feature where we were out in public and whatever, but the West Sacramento Police Department, you can film with a certain size crew, okay? And then they had no issue with it whatsoever. But when I shot my first film, we shot all over Sacramento. We shot in a museum, the Air Museum that's off the Air Base Air Museum, but we shot in a museum. They didn't ask for permits or anything like that. So I'm not encouraging anybody to go out and break any rules. That's more into the filmmaking side. What I'm telling you is if something that I say doesn't work for you, be rebellious, do it your own way, as long as you're getting the results that you want. If you're not getting the results that you want, maybe there's a problem with your process, you see? So I'm gonna show you my process. And since I teach martial arts, I have a 4th degree black belt in martial arts, train international champions, hecka cool, taking people that knew absolutely nothing and going and using that whole experience, express, extract, and embody, using that whole thing as a foundation to encourage it. If you have not written a story yet, if you have not written a screenplay yet, you have no right whatsoever to talk about how difficult it is because you haven't done it. Do you understand what I'm saying? When I have people come in and they say, I want to learn martial arts. Oh, but it's hard. How do you know? You haven't done it. You see what I mean? It may be challenging. It may be awkward, which for most people, it very much is. But if you have not gone through the process and did something, you haven't earned the right to say that it's hard, okay? Because you haven't done it. So if you're just starting out, please remove it from your mind that it is hard. Remove it from your mind that it is difficult. If it becomes that, then so be it. But you're going to work through that. That's why I say we are unstoppable screenwriters or unstoppable storytellers or unstoppable filmmakers. It doesn't matter how difficult or challenging it gets, we're going to complete whatever it is that we set out to do. So please extract it from your mind if you're just starting out, because it's not really as difficult as people will lead you to believe. And I stand on that. The mechanics of script writing screenplays, please, are you kidding me? No, it is not that hard to write a screenplay. It's hard to tell a great story. You guys understand that? So you focus on telling your great story. And I do that with an outline process. You focus on telling a great story, and then you can put it in whatever vehicle that you want to put it in, whether it's a screenplay, whether you're writing a book, a stage play, or the gamified martial arts thing. Regardless of what it is, you focus on good storytelling, because the end result, it doesn't matter how well formatted and how well it looks and whatever, you got the margins right, whatever, okay? But the bottom line is, that's all in formatting. Yes, the visuals, and yes, how you word things, yes, that's going to come into play, but you have to focus on telling a good story first. Then we move ahead. The reason I focus on mindsets, you guys, is because some people aren't even aware, because we hear it all the time. You just don't want it bad enough. How many of you guys have ever heard that before? You just don't want it bad enough. Well, for a lot of people, actually, I won't even say a lot of people. For some people, that's true, because we like to talk. That's why I have my LMTL, live more, talk less. Go out and do it. Stop just talking about it. Go out and do it. Go, 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 go. Go do it. People enjoy just talking because it gives them something to talk about, right? So what I'm encouraging you to do, it's not as challenging, it's not as difficult, but some people are not even aware that they self-sabotage themselves because they can't even see themselves as being successful. Okay, do you hear what I'm saying? If you came from a family, if you had your upbringing, whatever, where you constantly heard negative stuff, because a lot of people have, and to be honest, in my profession, I meet with a lot of people that have been raised like that. Just hearing that they're worthless, that they'll never amount to anything, that they'll never accomplish anything. We're hearing this from our own family members, right? And people that are close to them, whatever. But if you hear that enough, that stuff takes root on the inside of you. And when you set out to accomplish something as awesome as writing a screenplay or writing a story, writing a book, whatever, doing the gamified martial arts, I'm curious really to know what that is, because I'm going to keep referring to it. But you set out to do something that's really a really cool accomplishment. When you start plugging away at it, there's something on the inside of people that they're not even aware that they will begin to sabotage themselves to prevent them from being successful. That's why I do talk a lot about mindsets. Because you can get all the knowledge that you want in regards to writing a great story and writing a great screenplay. You can get all that knowledge and still never do anything. I come across those people all the time, all the time. You might be here right now talking about, I read this book and I read that book and I read this book, but I still can't figure out how why I can't finish my stuff. Well, let's dig into that. You see what I'm saying? So those are things that I will address throughout this, the class. I do that because it doesn't matter how much knowledge you get. I see the same post, and you guys got to be in these threads too. The screenwriting groups, the this groups, the author groups, the producer groups, the filmmaking groups, all the time, with people asking the same questions over and over and over again. Have you guys seen that or no? All right, rock on. Asking the same questions over and over again. Why is that? They keep doing it and they keep getting the same answers, or maybe a variation of that answer, but they're getting the knowledge, but for whatever reason, they're not able to put that into practice. And they just keep asking the same questions and they never get anywhere. If you're in this class—
they want a magic pill.
What's that?
Because they want the magic pill. They want that magical formula. If you just do A, B, C, and D, you'll have a winning book or screenplay. And it doesn't work that way.
It does not work that way. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct and stuff. So, but if you're in this class, I'm going to encourage you, just go through the process. And if there's elements that you don't like, this is one of Bruce Lee's philosophy, because I love martial arts. One of Bruce Lee's philosophies is absorb what's useful, discard the rest. So if it works for you, absorb it, take ownership of it. And if it doesn't, throw it away and replace it with something else. I have no problem with that, as long as you're getting the results that you want. There's so many people that'll say, I'm going to do it my way, but they never get done. Or I'm going to do it my way and their story sucks, horrible, right? But they say, I'm going to do it my way. Okay, you keep doing that. That's why I encourage you. You do what you want to do, boo. Do what you want to do. Have it your way. But I'm going to take you through a process and you can absorb it. You can take elements, replace them, because when you take ownership of the things that you learn, they become yours. You understand what I'm saying? Experience, express, embody, or extract and embody. That's mine. There's nothing and no one that can take it. And I don't care how much knowledge I get, how much learning, all these things. And I am a lifelong learner. I love to continue to learn, but nothing changes those elements because I took possession of those elements and they're mine. So if you get a hold of something, you take ownership, you tweak it, you twist it around, then it's something that your brain formulated and came up with. And then you take ownership of that and then you run with it. Does that make sense, you guys? Rock on. So we're going to definitely get into the whole storytelling process. But right now, I'm kind of giving you a feel for who I am. Then you can decide if you're going to come to the next class. That's funny. I'll be like, dang, there's only 4 people. Anyway, but rock on. So we are going to go through this whole process. So I will just say this. If you want to really learn storytelling, good storytelling, because you have been telling stories your whole life. Because what is a story? A story is simply something that you're trying to communicate. Now, for the most part, if we're in this class, we're looking at trying to communicate something through our words, through visuals, through whatever, to entertain for the most part, or to teach. You know, if you're writing something that's not, a narrative and you're just making it up or whatever, but that's what a story is. You're either going to write something to entertain somebody or you're trying to pass on some type of knowledge. Is that right? To get a reaction from someone, to get a response from someone. I go tell my kids, go clean your room. What is the response that I want? I can tell them in different ways. Ask you once. I'll ask you maybe twice, then I'll start telling you, and then my voice and everything about me is going to change. I don't even go that high, but I'm just kind of using this as an example. My voice starts to change. I start to get a little bit more, get raised up and get elevated. Why? Because there's a certain response that I'm trying to get from you, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so here's the deal. If you learn something, latch onto it and take hold of it. Okay, if you learn something else and you can add to that, then that's great. If I tell you that this is the right way of doing it, okay, I'm standing on that and I'm telling you it's the right way to do this. There are other ways, that's great. And if you want to go spend your time looking for other ways, that's fantastic. I know 14 different wrist lock defenses. 14 on this hand, 14 on this hand, cross grabs, all that. Why 14? That's stupid. I know 14 on each hand because not because I would go through those 14 things if somebody ever grabbed me a certain way. It's so that I can teach different ways. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's only 2 or 3 that I would actually use for myself. But I know 14 so that I can communicate and says, oh, those 2 or 3 that I would use, maybe they don't work for you because of your body shape, because of your this, because of your height, because of your demeanor, because of whatever. I know 14, so I could say, here's the ones that will work for you. If that works for you, then that's the one that is going to be your go-to. Do you guys understand that? So there's a lot that I'll be throwing out. And if you get a hold of the truth of something, the reality, if this is the way that it works, this is right, and I will stand on that, then hold on to it. If something better comes along, great. But you don't have to go around, keep searching and searching and searching, asking the same dumb question. Character goes right there in the middle of your screenplay. That does not change. Why do I got to keep looking for certain things? You know what I mean? Certain things. Your slug line consists of this element, interior, exterior, the location and time of day. That does not change. You see? So what I'm going to communicate with you and what you're going to learn the rules of screenwriting so that you can figure out which ones you can bend, but never break. A lot of people will talk about, well, this is just the way I do it. Well, you keep doing you. You keep doing it the way that you want to do it, as long as you're getting the results that you want. Some of you guys said, this is what I want to accomplish. If I can show you a process that can lead you up to accomplishing that, then great. If there's elements you need to take out and replace them with something else, then great, you do that. My goal is for you just to be successful and get to that destination that you're wanting to get to. Does that make sense, everybody? All right. All right, fantastic. You guys are amazing. So I'm going to go over this real quick, and you're going to hear it throughout our whole time together. The first word is experience. Okay? Experience. You guys have already written that down. That is the reality of who you are. I want you guys to think about this because this all goes into storytelling. You want to know what's missing from people's screenplays that I read over and over and over again? What might be missing from your screenplay? When we talk about character development, because we're going to talk about that today, and we're going to send you home with your assignment on character development. But when we talk about character development, you hear the same things. To develop your characters, you want to look at their past. You want to look at their education. You want to look at their upbringing. You want to look at their profession. You want to look at their friends. You want to look at whatever. True or not true? Have you guys heard that? No, you guys haven't. Some of you guys, okay. You look at all these different elements to create this character that you're wanting to create. Let me tell you what's missing. And this is why I stand on this 100%. What's missing is that character's experience. That's the reason why a lot of people's characters don't come to life. It's because they're missing the experiences of their life. And I will give you an example. Oh my goodness. I want you guys to think about this. You are here in this class right now as a direct result of all of your experiences in your entire life. Every experience that you have had in your life brought you to this moment right now. Let that sink in. Every experience, the good times, the bad times, at some point, a dream was dropped in your heart. At some point, something you said, I want to pursue this. At some point in your life says, I'm going to take a class. At some point in your life, you said, I'm going to read a book. At some point in your life, you said all that based on your experiences, it brought you to this class. And I want you to think about that. There are people that chose not to attend this class based on their experiences. And I'm just throwing this out there. Please, I ain't trying to get crazy. I never know what's going to come out of my mouth. Every class is always different. It doesn't matter how many times Helen's been in my classes, Diana, Stephanie, does not matter how many times I teach a class. Everything comes out different, right? But there are people that chose not to attend this class just because of the color of my skin. Think about that. That's based on their experiences. Their whole life brought them to a moment where they saw an advertisement for, hey, take a free screenwriting class. And then they look on the screen, it's like, oh, it's being taught by a black bald man. I'm not going to that class. Okay? That's a reality. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be trippy. I'm not trying to be all racy and all that kind of stuff. Don't care about none of that stuff. Honestly, I don't. But it's a point that for some reason, people chose not to attend this class based on their life experiences, their whole life experiences, which brought you guys here to this particular moment. Do you guys understand that? Okay, rock on. There's people said, I'm not going to attend that class because it's a scam. It's just like any other, hey, you know, is it really free? I got that. Oh, man, you don't know how many messages I got. Is it really free? Yes, it is. That's why I was trying to send people direct links so you wouldn't even go through my website. So I was trying to private message people saying, yes, it's free. I just want to teach you. I want to encourage you. I want to set you out to achieve that goal of writing your story, your screenplay. No, you're not going to see anything asking for anything and this and that, whatever. Nope. But there's some people that didn't attend the class because they thought it was a scam, or they thought it was this, or they thought it was that. That was based on their life experiences. Now, here's the connection that I'm wanting to make right now. Your whole life experience brought you to this moment right now, which brings in your character. When you introduce your character in your story or your screenplay, it is based on all their life experiences. Every single experience that that character had brought them to that moment where you introduce them into your story. Did you guys hear that? Every experience that that character had brought them to the moment when you first introduced that character into your story. And those experiences are locked. And the reason why you have characters that don't come alive on screen, man, I get compliments left and right about my character development, left and right, from Emmy-winning actors, from actors in general, you know, people that have read my material, they're like, oh my gosh, your characters, because you instill their experiences on the inside of them, not just where they work, not just how they were raised. Those are elements and they're important. Yes, bring those elements into them. But if you don't give them their experiences, then you're going to have a character that has no life. And your character is the central part of your story. Your character is the vehicle that's going to carry your message. And we all have a message because that's what a story is. I'm communicating a message to get a response from someone. That's what story is. I am so big on story. I freak out about story. You know, love it, love it, love it. And then I decide whether I'm going to put it into a book or whether I'm going to put it into a screenplay or do whatever I want to do with it. But I'm going to focus on telling a great story, which means we have to have a great character. We have to have a character that is alive, that has had experiences. And there is no better way to learn the experience of a character than to develop yourself as a character. Okay? So this is your assignment. You're going to do a character development on yourself. Okay? You're going to do this. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe people do this, but it ain't like mine. It's not like mine. I've been doing this, and no matter what book I read, no matter what, I always resort back to experience, expression, or experience, express, embody, or extract and embody. Always comes to that. But here's the deal. This is what you're going to do. You're going to do a character development on yourself. I want you to write down, and this is not something you're going to share with anybody. So everybody hear me, right? You guys are clear on that? Don't share this with anybody. Okay? You know you. And if you don't know you, that's a part of your character. The only truth that you really know is who you are. You know the truth of why you made certain decisions. You know the truth of why you acted a certain way. Regardless of what you said, you know the truth of it. Anybody else can come into your life and they says, oh, I did this for this reason. But do you really know it's true? For the most part, yeah. But we're talking about 100% absolutes. You know you. And if you develop yourself as a character and you put down all those elements of your life, as much detail as you can possibly come up with, the things that broke you, the things that killed your heart, that moment of betrayal, those elements that just rocked your world when you were on cloud nine, when you were devastated by something. I'm talking about, write it down. This is your assignment. This is your assignment. Please do it. Because if you want to learn how to develop a character, you will be able to look inside yourself because you know the truth. You're the one that develops your character and make them become alive in your story, in your screenplay. Is that correct? Is that right? You're the one that does that. You give them those elements. And so if you look at yourself and say, this is the truth of who I am, and you go back in your past, I mean, from everything that you can remember, and I mean everything, I'm talking about, you're going to write something so classified, put your secrets on there. Write them down, because those secrets influence you, and they influence your actions. They influence your decisions, whether other people know about them or not. There are reasons why you make decisions where you could say, oh, well, this is the reason why I did that. But that's not the truth, because you know on the inside, this is the reason why I did that. You see what I mean? Oh, I'm great. I'm excited to be here. This and that, whatever. You know what's really on your inside of you. So this is what I want to encourage you to do. Follow those rabbit holes in your life to see those defining moments when you made big decisions, okay? Because you're going to later apply them to your characters. Things that happen in your life influences who you are as a person right now. And I'm going to give you one example, because this is something, it's a big deal, right now, especially what's going on in the world. This is something that is a part of my character. If somebody calls me out of my name today, right now, I'm walking down the street and someone calls me the N-word. And again, I'm not trying to be all racy about stuff, okay? Understand that, hear that. I'm just trying to give you something from my past, okay? Somebody can get up in my face, call me the N-word, and you know what I'm going to do about it? I'm a 4th degree black belt in martial arts. I can light you up, because I know anybody that tries to pick a fight with me don't know more than me. You see what I mean? I'm not afraid of nobody, because anybody that's better than me would never try to fight me, because I know that's a martial artist. That's a fighter. You see what I mean? Because I certainly am not going to go pick a fight with anybody. But here's my point. My point is, somebody can get up in my face and call me all kinds of names. You this, whatever. And you can call me the granddaddy of all bad names that you call a black person. And you know what you're going to get out of me? Nothing. Nothing. A lot of people would look at that and say, you say one thing like that and I'll pop him in the mouth. You hear it all the time. Do you not? Do you not? You guys, universal sign for yes or no. You hear it all the time. You call me that, or you call whatever word that, your nationality or whatever. You call me that, man, I'm smacking them. I'm going to pound them. I'm going to do that, whatever. That will never happen with me. Ever, 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 ever. You want to know why? It's because me as a character, when I was 16, 17 years old, maybe 15, yes, I was about 15 years old, going back into high school, okay? Everybody's kind of hanging out and they're doing their thing in class before the bell rang, and I'm sitting in somebody's seat trying to talk to a girl. And keep in mind, I'm the nerd. I'm a nerd, but I married a hottie, but I'm a nerd. Throughout my high school, nerd. That's character development on me, right? And so here I am, I'm sitting there and I'm in somebody's seat, and the bell rings and the kid comes up to me and says, "Get out of my seat, you effing N-word," in front of the whole class. Crazy. I was 14 or 15 at that time. And you know what I did? I said, because I'm psyching myself out, N-word, 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 right? Psyching myself out. And that's me saying it. And then I popped him, hit him right in the nose. I broke his nose. Yep, that happened in high school. Never forget it. And so I broke his nose. Teacher called us out of class. Of course, we got suspended, had a, parent thing, whatever. When my mom came to the school, she went off on me. And you know what my mother said? My Black mother said, she said, you showed him how much of an N-word you are. My mama, who loves me dearly, she still, loves me dearly, loves me. But she said, you showed him how much of an N-word you are. And I'm like, but mama, this, whatever. She says, are you that? And I'm, no, mama. Are you that? Are you? No, mama, I'm not. Then why did you respond like that? And so she put a whole life lesson on the inside of me back when I was 14, 15 years old that sat on the inside of me and still sits on the inside of me, and it will continue to do so for my entire life. I'm not moved by anything that anybody says to me. Nothing. You touch me, that's a different story. You touch my kids, my wife, that's a different story. Okay. But for me, you could say whatever you want to say about me. I know who I am. Okay. That truth is on the inside of me. Those kind of truths need to be instilled on the inside of your character. And you will learn to look for those things when you start examining the impacts in your own life. That was 14, 15 years old. I'm 50 now. I've never lashed out on anybody who's called me that. And I've still been called that. Never. And it wouldn't even be a thought in my head. That's a part of my character development. Do you understand that? And so you have those elements on the inside of you that influence you. Think about this. How many of you guys have ever had a relationship with someone and you said, man, we are ride or die. It is like the ultimate. You got you and me forever, 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 forever. Any of you guys ever have those elements or ever have those relationships? Now, you guys that have said yes, how many of you guys have a severed relationship with a person that you said you thought that whenever? Sally? Yeah. So think about this. We said that in those moments, we said that it's ride or die. It's you and me forever, man. We're going to roll like this. But then something started to change. At some point in that relationship, something started to change. And it started with a seed planted on the inside of you or on the inside of that person. Now you fast forward a week, you fast forward a month, you fast forward a year, and that seed takes root and it starts to grow on the inside of you as you continue living your life to the point where it's like, man, I don't want to have anything to do with you. So that same person that you said were ride or die till death do us part, whatever. You thought you were going to be rolling with this person forever. Now that relationship is severed. At some point in your life, it just started as a seed and it began to grow and things begin to get added onto it until there was a breaking point. Your characters need to have those moments, you guys. That's the reason why you have people that are writing their stories and their characters aren't alive, because they don't have experiences to back up their life. All they have is elements that we write down. Oh, this is dictating their actions and this, there. But you can't follow a rabbit hole, a trail to see those secrets, to see the truths that really lie on the inside of you, because you know when you told somebody the truth and you know when you were lying through your teeth. True story, right? Oh yeah, that's how much you gave me. That's how much you gave me, right? And you know good and well they gave you an extra 20. You know what I mean? Whatever. You knew that lie, but you still spoke the truth. This is the truth. You know the absolute truth about yourself. And so if you write down those things, especially when things begin to shift in your life, when a dream, think about this, when a dream was deposited on the inside of you and you made a decision to pursue it. Some of you guys even joining this class. Why? Because you want to get somewhere. It started as a seed somewhere. So you have to give your characters those seeds that begin to grow in their life. And that's when you're going to be writing characters that come alive on screen, that they're not just these elements of profession and upbringing. And those elements are important. Please hear me. I would never knock anybody's writing, no method of their storytelling, no book, no video. I would never, ever, ever, ever do that. Why? Because if it works for somebody, who am I to knock that? What I'm trying to give you is what works for me. And I'm telling you, if you want to make your character come alive, examine your own life. See yourself as a character, okay? And so write that assignment. Write your name. Write your name, maybe where you were born, all these little different things. And as you start to do this, the same thing you would do with a character, hello, right? As you start to do this, your fingers are going to start flying. Oh, I remember when my girlfriend said this. I remember when my boyfriend said this. I remember when this happened and this happened and this happened and all these things. And next thing you know, you're just killing it and you're going for it about yourself. And I'm telling you, don't show this to anybody. Keep it put away, because I want you to write down those secrets too. And if you don't want to actually write them in fear, and I want you to hear this, this is important. If you fear that somebody might find your paper, then just put something that represents that secret. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't want nobody getting in trouble by, somebody finding their paper and says, oh my gosh, you slept with what? You know what I mean? Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. Write something that represents that secret. Guess what? There are things that I have on the inside of me that I will never tell anybody, ever, that I will take to the grave. And those things influences my decisions sometimes. Even when other people don't think that they do, that is a motivation that I have. Write those things down. Don't write it. Don't write it. I mean, put a little symbol. You see what I mean? A teardrop, if it was something that was tragic, you know what I mean? Maybe a broken heart to represent that. But those elements influence the things that you do in your life and the things that you say, even when someone else doesn't know about that. True story. You guys are hearing me, right? True story. Those things influence you. So follow those rabbit holes in your life of when a seed was planted and see how long it took that seed to just kind of germinate and start to grow until it blossomed and then whatever else happened. Okay, that's experience. So do your character development on yourself. That's for sure. And you're going to continue to do that throughout the class. So you don't have to smash it and just be like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. I'm just doing this, whatever. You're wiping away tears and stuff. Oh my gosh, how can he just make me, whatever. Just do it. Just do it. Okay. Just write it down. But then I'm going to continue to encourage you throughout the class. Keep working on it. Keep working on it. Because even though Diana and Stephanie and a few other people have been in this class before, I keep telling them, add to it, add to it. Keep digging, because you will learn character development, because there's no greater character than who you are. Guys, you know the truth of who you are, okay? So give yourself that as an assignment, rock on. So that's your experience. Your experience, your character experience brings them to that first page. And now think about this. When you think about experience, what do you want your audience to experience? Okay? So we only got to the experience part. What do you want your audience to experience? Now think about this, because when you're writing your story, when you're writing your screenplay, you're going to keep coming back to that element. And it's a way of you doing a checks and balance to make sure that you are staying in line with what your story, what you're trying to accomplish with your story. What do you want your audience to experience? When you throw a plot, something that happens to your character, you're going to be able to look at it and say, does my character respond true to their experience? Okay. When your character starts to initiate things, does my character initiate things based on the truth of their life experience? Because what you're going to have to try to extract is the falsehoods in your story. Okay, so I'm jumping down. But anyway, you guys are going to have to follow along with me, because I get excited and I just go, right? So when you have your character based on your experiences, your character development, but based on your character experience, when we introduce them for the first time, there's something that's going to happen to them. Okay, you make that happen. Don't let the characters, this is just my encouragement. Again, do what you want to do. Okay. This is just what I'm encouraging you. You don't let the character dictate what happens to them, because we as human beings always will make things easier on ourselves. We always do. Okay. It's human nature to try to say, is there an easier way to do this? Is there an easier, you want your character to get stronger because they start off as weak. Okay, I'm going to make that character stronger. I'm going to have this happen, this, that, whatever, based on what your character dictates. No, you're creating this world. You create that world. You create the experience. Okay. You create what your characters experience, and their life experience is what's going to determine how they respond, but also how they initiate trying to get out of that experience that you put them in. That's where your character gets to make their decisions. That's where they get to come alive. But your character does not dictate what happens to them, because your character will make it too easy on themselves. Now, I'm going to give you a morbid example. It's 8 o'clock right now. I'm having fun, but I'm going to give you a morbid example. I want to make my characters tough. I want to make him go on a, like he needs to rise up and be stronger and all this kind of stuff. And I can say, oh, okay, well, I can just have this happen to him. Well, you could, but who wants to say, listen, if you gave your character a choice, oh, I want to toughen up, so have me get beat up or get mugged and something like that, and then I want to go take martial arts and become stronger and all this kind of stuff. Well, that's great. But if you have me write it, I'm killing your whole family. Not really, but you understand my point. Your character will be looking for what it's going to take for me to become this. Where you're saying, I'm the one that's going to give you that experience to make you become something. So I'm going in your house while you go to work, and I'm lighting up your whole family. So when you come home, you're not just getting beat up. You're going to walk in and your family's massacred. That's morbid. That is morbid. Telling you, sometimes I just don't know. But my point is, don't make it so easy on your characters by letting them dictate what happens to them. You tell what's happened to them, and you let them respond based on their experiences. You see, and based on those experiences, now your character is going to say, this is how I'm going to respond to this. And now this is what I'm going to initiate based on my life experience. You guys hear that? You guys following along? Does anybody have any questions? I just be going, kill your whole family with a giant smile. Yes.
I had a question.
Yes, Everly. Is that you, Everly?
Yes, yes.
Go ahead.
So I want to, for the character sketch that we are writing, does it have to begin? There's no beginning point and ending point, right? Or do we have to start from?
Can you say that one more time? I just lost you in the beginning. I'm going to turn up my volume real quick. Just 1 second. Oh, my volume's up. Okay, I'm sorry. Say that again, Everly.
So for the character sketch of what we are supposed to do in the assignment, so is there a beginning and an ending point, or we can choose any starting point?
Oh, for your assignment?
Yeah.
For the assignment? Oh, just write down whatever comes to mind. You know what I mean? If you can start wherever you are. And so here's the thing. Are all those things going to apply to your characters? Absolutely not. You're going to include the elements that are relevant to your story. Okay. Does that make sense? So no, all those elements are not going to apply to your life, but at least you get to look and see how things developed in your life, how you made decisions that changed you. And yes, it's just from one perspective, but it's one perspective of absolute truth, what you know about yourself. You see what I mean? That's why I want you to dig into yourself, dig into your life, follow those rabbit holes, because you know they're there. They're there. They have to be, because you're here. You know what I mean? We've gone through life, all the ups and downs. And so, like I said, your character's not going to even tap into all of those different things. So no, they're not going to be added or emphasized in your story or your screenplay, but you know what you can tap into. You now know the things that you need to give your character in order to really breathe life into them. Because a lot of the screenplays I read, they just have no life. And I can read them, online, not just my stories or, the stories that I get from other people, but they just have no life. because they just lack experience, the realism of the experience that brought them to whatever point starts your story, you see? So that's experience, and there's more to it, but we'll dig later. Express is simply this. And if you guys need to jump off, I will definitely try to manage my time a little bit more. But again, I get excited. And if you need to leave, I will say, thank you for hanging out. You guys rock. You guys awesome. I want to help you to be able to be successful at whatever you want to be successful at and to accomplish what you want to accomplish. Okay. So to some of you guys, I would say, adios. Bye-bye. You know, okay. So continuing on. Oh, Sally, you got something?
Yeah. Like, how am I writing this? Am I writing this in a narrative form, or am I just listing events and how it changed? I'm a little unclear as to how I should attack this.
Perfect. Let me clear this up. Write it however you want to. Look at yourself as a character. Look at yourself as a character. If you choose, because some people have natural giftings. You see how I just kind of fly off at the mouth, but some people have natural giftings and natural draws to be able to communicate certain ways. So you guys that are maybe writing a book, maybe you want to look at it and say, I'm going to write this out as if I'm actually writing a story. Some people might just write down certain elements on the page as far as, you know, name, you know, because we think differently. Therefore, we apply certain things differently. But thank you for asking that, Sally. That's a great question. So if you want to write it out as a narrative, you can do that. It might require a little bit more thought in order to formulate, you know, your sentences and get those things. But I just really want you to dig into yourself. If you have any experience with doing character development, you know, you kind of know how you do that and stuff. But look at those elements in your life growing up and, you know, the things that have made an impact on you, professions, who you lived with and stuff. You don't have to go crazy detailed if you don't want to, but I do want you to go and look for those things that have had a significant impact in your life so you can follow how they took root in your life. Does that make sense? So write it as a narrative if you choose to. You can bullet point it and just write down key elements to, of your life as far as maybe when you were born and, you know, whether you had both parents and, you know, maybe what your parents were like or your interactions, siblings. You can write down whatever it is that you feel that you want to write down with. I'm not trying to give you an astringent assignment. I just want you to visit yourself and write down those elements and stuff that really stand out to you in a sense of doing character development, because really character development is, you know, your history, and what you apply to your characters are the elements that are relevant. You know, what people often miss are those elements that are those rabbit holes of when a seed was planted, because sometimes that seed takes a while for it to either take root and start to grow and grow and grow. And next thing it becomes something. You're now able to follow that and you're able to say, I want my character to have that. I want them to have an experience that brought them, you know, to a certain point, because you know the reality of your life and you know those elements brought you to a certain point. And when you give those to your characters, it influences the decision they make. Have you ever just walked up to somebody and you says, I don't like that person? You know what I mean? You don't even know them, man. Seriously. I don't like that person. That person gives me the heebie-jeebies. That's because there's something in that person's actions, something in the way that their eyes, something in the way that there's something about them. Give your characters that, not the heebie-jeebies, but you know what I'm saying? You give them those elements that rub off on people. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden it's like, dang, man, you know, I know people, and I'll use this example because I use it all the time. This is part of character. Okay. You all know people that is all up in your personal space. When they talk to you, they're right up on you, always breathing on you. It's like, dang. And you're trying to back up and they take a step forward, and you're backing up and they're taking a step forward, and you're trying to, and I'm not even talking about social distancing because of a pandemic. I'm just talking about that's a part of their character. They're always up on you and you're like, dang. And you try to put your elbow out. You know what I mean? That's it. Character development. Think about that. That's a part of someone's character. I know a wonderful, wonderful lady, very important in my life, who will never look you in the eyes. Never look you in the eyes. You're having conversation and she's like this, and she'll swing her head like this, and she'll look up and she's talking to you. That is part of character development. Guys, think about this. Every single one of us are characters. And so if you're able to see, I don't even know, because I'm not a Zoom freak, you know, so I don't know much about Zoom. I don't know if you're able to see the other faces that are on here, but each and every one of us are characters. You can look at each of us and say, dang, that's a character. And you can start making up stuff about that person because your character, their experiences influences the way that they speak. You look at me as a character, oh man, you probably already got me pegged. You know what I mean? And then you say, man, I'm gonna put a character like that, always talking and always moving and always just this. It's part of my character. You see what I mean? And it came from somewhere. But if you look at me, see a character. Every time you look at somebody, when you're going down the street, it's not just a person. It's a character with an experience. Why does that person walk the way that they walk? I will give them that backstory. Why does that person talk the way that they talk? I will give them that backstory. For me to find characters for a story, oh, please, all I got to do is drive down the street. You're a character, you're a character, you're a character. I don't know you. I will never see you again, but I like what you're wearing. Or you look tore up. Now I'm going to give you a backstory to support that tore upness, and then I'm going to continue on with my story. Everybody is a character. You see, you create the experience for that character. And based on what you know about yourself, you get to follow those rabbit holes, and you get to see when certain things were imparted to influence it, the way that that person carries themselves. Does that make sense, you guys? So you want me to blow through just the last one? Well, maybe I won't do that. I won't do that. Okay, I'm gonna look at express and extract and embody. I'm gonna look at those on our next session, and then we'll look at working on outlining. Okay, I do outline.
You go through it? Can
What's
you
that?
go through it quickly?
You want me to?
Yes, I do. I do.
Okay. I'll go through it quick. You know what? I get excited and I just go express, real easy. How many of you guys struggle with dialogue? Anybody who writes their stuff and you struggle with dialogue? Man, I'm going to help you out. One, sorry, Sally, I need to go back to experience. Your character's dialogue is based on their experience, period. Okay. And if you start speaking in a way that's not true to their experience, see why I keep going back to these elements, then you know that you have to extract that element, okay? So yes, I will get to express, but it just leads, all these things feed off of each other, okay? But so when you express something, it has to be true to the experience. Otherwise, you're introducing a falsehood that needs to be extracted. So I'm jumping ahead, but express is simply this. If you struggle with dialogue, I'm going to give it to you right now, okay? You got boy meets girl. Let's make this easy. You got boy meets girl, express. I need to express something, okay? If you don't know what to say, this is my thing to you. Say what you think you're trying to say. Does not matter how long that dialogue is. I don't care if you ramble on for a whole page of just trying to say, if the goal is this boy is going to introduce himself to this girl, but he's nervous, you know, and he's going to try to ask her out on a date. Okay. Typical situation. Express. Think about this. I'm going to express that now, but I don't know what to say. Okay. We already know who our character is based on their experience, right? Because that's why we're introducing them into the story. Now this character is going to introduce and try to ask this girl on a date, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. So this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to go, hey, girl, I don't really know what to say to you right now, but I want to ask you out. I want to be cool. I want to be kind of clever. I want to be this, but I don't know if that's going to work for you because you so fly. You look so good. You so fine, this and that, whatever. I just keep rambling on trying to say what it is that I think that I want to say. I know what my goal is. I know my goal is to ask her out on a date on a way that is maybe unique. You see? So if that's what my goal is, then I'm going to do that. Hey, girl, I want to try to ask you out on a way that's cool. I think I might try to do this, but I think you might think I'm stupid. You know what I mean? I think I might try to do this or whatever. And as you write, I'm telling you, at least for me, remember, you could extract and you could take away whatever, you could throw it away and think it's garbage. Don't matter. I get the results that I want from the way that I do things. You see? So that's what I do. When I'm thinking about dialogue and I don't know what to say, I write what I think I'm trying to say. You see what I mean? Because at least that much I can determine. You can determine that. This is what I want to do. This is what I want the outcome to be. So I'll start writing that. This is what the outcome, because that allows me just to be able to continue on in my story. You see, I don't get stuck anywhere. People get writer's block. I don't. Okay. Because I can continue to go on no matter what is. Oh, I'm stuck. Okay. I'm stuck on what? Well, I'm stuck on how to ask this girl out. Well, girl, I want to ask you out, but I don't really know what to say. I know I want to say something cool. I know I want you to think of me this way. I want to blah, blah, blah. And I just keep writing. I just keep writing. And then eventually I said, man, I don't know how to do that. So I'm just going to ask you out. Mission accomplished. Yes, it's crazy, but guess what? I asked her out. She said yes or no, but I got the results so that I can continue on in my story. You see? Then as I continue on in my story, I get to now go back and extract what doesn't belong there. You guys get that? So I just keep writing and I keep writing and I keep writing. And that way I just get flow and I'm not stuck on anything. And then as I continue to move on in my story, I don't go back and edit things. I just continue on. But if I get something and I know that's where it belongs, that's the only time I go back. That's just me personally. There are people that edit as they go. I do not do that. I just write in such a way that I continue to write. I write and I write and I write and I continue on with my story. Then when it comes to me, how I want that person to ask this other girl or this girl out, then I go back and say, this is what I'm wanting to do. Okay. Does that make sense, you guys? I express it however I can express it to get the result that I want. It may even be this. Listen to what I'm saying. It may be even this. Express, hey, girl, I want to ask you out in a way that's cool, but I don't know how to do that. Would you just go out with me? Okay, that's all I got. Now I can move on. She said, yes, we're going out on a date. Yay, that's awesome, right? Now I get to continue on my story. And as my story develops and my characters become more alive to me, then I can go back when that thing pops into my head and says, that's it. That's how I want to do it. I can go back now and I can extract that. You guys get that? I hope you guys are learning something because I know some of you guys are like, rock on and been there, done that, but I don't care. I just talk. Okay. And so that's what I do with Express. Okay. And then when I go back and I extract. I take away those elements that don't belong. And I use extract to take away plots that don't belong. A plot is just a what happened and what happens next. That's what a plot is. What happens and what happens next. What happens and what happens next. That's what plot is. Okay. You throw those at your characters. Now what happens? You see? And we'll go more into that into the next class because I don't want to lose people. But I think this is live streaming. I hope. Anyway, so we have express, say whatever you need to say. Get it out. Now we're going to extract those elements that don't belong. Okay. That's not true to my character. Extract it. That's not true to what I'm wanting to express to my audience. Extract it. Okay. You get it? Everybody, I'm not going too much into detail, but at least you got the elements. And now we get to embody. That's the whole element of show, don't tell. If there's a way that I can express this in my actions, as opposed to me expressing it with my words, then I'm going to embody that. You see? So there you go. You have your experience. You have to express, going to say what I need to say, however I need to say it, just to get it out. Then you're going to still go back and start extracting those elements so that you remove all that excess, trim the fat, and then you get to ask yourself, is there a way that I can show this and not have to tell it? You get to embody it. Is there any way that I can show it within my characters, within the actions, within the plots that are going on? Can I show it and not tell it? So that's embody. And to me, that encompasses everything in regards to my screenwriting. And yes, that's only little elements of it, but that's how I do every screenplay. That's why I call it my easy approach to screenwriting. You see? So rock on. Let me just say one last thing, and then we'll just open it up to questions. but you guys rock. I think you guys are awesome. If you guys need to jump off, then you guys do your thing or whatever, but you're more than welcome to hang out. Just want to say just one last thing. Give yourself permission to write garbage, but don't set out to do that. Okay? Hear what I'm saying. You hear it all the time. Oh, your first draft's going to be terrible. Not mine. Nope. I do not set out to write garbage, but I give myself permission to write garbage. That way it gives me the freedom to be able to just express and do all those different elements so that I can get to in my story. Oh, your first few screenplays are going to be terrible. Not mine. Everything that I've ever written that I wanted to make got made. And this is not about me trying to whatever, because I found success according to my definition of success. Now I'm going big time. I got 6 kids, but I only have 2 left in the house, okay? So now I get to focus more on things that I'm wanting to do outside with bigger projects. But every movie I wanted to make got made. Every short film, if I wrote it, it got made, which means someone saw the value in it, in what I wrote. You understand what I'm saying? Whether I produced it myself, it still took people giving of their time and their money and their resources, their energy, their efforts, their talents, all these different things. It still took those things. And if it wasn't worth getting into, they would have not gotten into it. Everything that I write, I fully expect to get made. Again, I'm not trying to hype myself out because, you know, whatever. That's just the truth. I don't set out to write garbage, but I give myself permission to write garbage. You hear it all the time in these groups that I'm in, and I stay out of them. I stay out of the groups. You rarely hear me say anything to anybody, because if people want to be stupid, they can be stupid. If people want to say, if you want to set out to write garbage, you do you. But if you say, man, I'm going to write something amazing and it comes out garbage, awesome. You gave yourself permission to write garbage, so go ahead, but don't set out to write garbage. The reason why I was able to make this movie on this camera, not HD, standard definition, my first film that I wrote the screenplay for. People put their time, effort, money, energy, all that kind of stuff, and it got picked up by Netflix, got picked up by Blockbuster. It was shown all over the world in theaters, won awards, everything. My first project, I had no idea what I was doing. None, no idea. But I know excellence and I strive for excellence. So if you're in this class and you're going to follow through in this class, we're going to, hey, yes. Oh, Diane said vigilantes. Yes, it was vigilantes. And so, but I wrote it for my kid. She said, I want to be an actress. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to write you a movie. Now, how many dads be saying that? Never wrote a movie before. I just said, I'm going to try it, you know, but I always set out for excellence in everything that I do, but I give myself permission to write garbage so that I have that freedom just to be able to move on. Okay, does that make sense, you guys? So I want to encourage you. Don't speak that into your life. Don't speak that over yourself that you're going to write garbage. Just give yourself permission to do that, but don't speak that over your life. What you write is going to be amazing. And if it's not amazing on your first pass through, you can always go back to make it amazing. You can make a great story out of everything. It is not just about the big explosions and car chases. If you put me in a box and says, here's your story, everybody, oh, you put me in a box, you can't limit my creativity. You cannot limit my creativity. Nobody can limit your creativity. Nobody. Here's your 2 characters. That's what you got to work with. Okay. I'm going to make something amazing out of those 2 characters. You're in one room. That's all you have to work with. Awesome. I'm going to make something amazing happen in that one room. Ooh, that sun coming in hot. 1 second. Ah. All right. Anyway, so I'm going to stop talking because I can talk all day long, as you could probably already gather. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, you guys already know what you got assignment just to start character development on yourself. And I'm telling you, there's things that you do that nobody else even knows the reason why. Give your characters those moments, guys. Give your characters those moments. And then the audience will be sitting back and says, man, I wonder why. And you can drop these little seeds, you know what I mean? And they follow those little breadcrumbs, and your stories, your characters will be so alive. This is the heart of character development for me. This is what I think people are missing, because they don't give the characters that experience. But anyway, let's go ahead and open it up to questions. And if you guys had any questions, if you guys want to just hang out, I am fair game, you guys. Okay. Bye. All right. As an actor who knows about backstories, I'm greatly intrigued by your teaching. Awesome. That's awesome. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Very, very cool. Nobody has any questions. Does everybody have an idea of what they're going to start working on?
I don't have a question, but I want to just attach something to what you were saying before about experiences and everything like that, and like dialogue, etc. One thing that I learned in your previous classes, as well as my acting class, is that when you've got a dialogue and they're saying something, they're not really saying what they're saying. They're saying something, they'll mean something completely different, but they're saying something, and maybe it's because of a previous experience. Maybe they're a people pleaser because of their past,
mm-hmm.
you
Yes.
know? And it's actually something that I've learned a lot about myself by embodying what you taught us, and obviously what I'm learning in my acting class. I'm learning about who I am as a person because of all of that. So
awesome.
I just wanted to say that character development thing, it was great. And I, like you said, we learned about it in previous class, and I'm still doing it every now and again.
That is so awesome. Thank you for that, Stephanie. That is so awesome. Rock on. Yes, I'm telling you, you will kill it. You will kill it. And that's one element. That's the central element in your story is your character. Your character is your vehicle. You know what I mean? It's your vehicle to deliver whatever message, because a story is about a message and a response. You're trying to cause someone to think something, to think differently, to move them in some way, shape, or form. You're trying to do, to influence, impact, even if it's just to give somebody a little freedom to just say, breathe, even if it's just to entertain, to help get somebody's mind off of something. That's your message. That's your goal. And your character is going to be the vehicle to do that. You see? So rock on. So that's a big part of it. And I'm telling you, that is the key. Learn all those other things, and we'll go over those other things too. But that is the foundation. Make that your foundation for character development. Sally, go ahead.
Sorry, I seem to be not monopolizing questions, but when I write this, just so I get my arms around it, because my biggest thing, and like I said, I went to film school and I've been working on several different screenplays, and I start them and then I stop them, and I can, in my mind, I've developed these characters. I know they can talk to each other, but getting it out on paper, like I've got into like 60 pages on one, and I'm just like, it's so much. And then I just give up. So to get my arms around this and do this better, because to Stephanie's point, these things really do give you a light into your soul. I'm trying to find a way to kind of do this in a way that's not going to get me like too far in the wrong direction. So I'm thinking of putting years or ages on and a small blurb, and just do this for myself.
Yes.
And not go into too much detail. And I'm not showing this to anybody else, so it doesn't really matter. It's just a way to kind of, we're going to take this and use this to put into a screenplay in a different way, into a different character. We're going to do this again for a character.
Yes, if essentially, yes, and because you are still trying to talk about the whole character development assignment,
right?
Okay, and so I don't want you guys to get too hung up on that, because obviously we'll be moving on into other stuff. But what I'm trying to communicate is a key that you now have to be able to look within yourself, and whether even if you're just starting out, because obviously there's nothing to turn in. Even what Stephanie was saying is she's still working on it, and we've been in 3 classes together.
Yeah.
We've been in 3 classes together, and so she's still continuing to work on that. But I'm saying to visit that. I don't want it to hang you up, because we're going to be continuing on because I want you guys, especially just starting out, I want you to start something and finish something. And if all your focus is on, oh man, doing this character development and really dialing it in, I don't want that to be the case. So I want to release you of that, Sally. I want to let you know, even if you just get it started and you start getting some points and stuff, but since you have a background in this, then it's not really something that you have to focus on, especially with other projects. You don't have to focus on it. I'm wanting you to know that as you continue to work on those other projects you're doing, that you tap into that so that you ensure that your characters in the stories that you are working on has those elements. You see?
Okay.
So yes, don't go too much into detail because we're going to move on that. I'm just going to, every class, I'll probably just bring it up. Hopefully you guys are digging in. You know, and stuff. But I don't want it to slow you down from what we're going to be progressing on together.
Okay.
Does that make sense, Sally?
Yeah. Yeah.
Rock on. Awesome. So I had Anna real quick say, and I'll get to you 1 second, Everly. Anna said, how do you deal with having multiple projects at the same time? How do you know which one to develop first? Excuse me. My answer to this question is, which ones do you want to live with? Which character do you want to live with? Because your characters, they occupy your mind. They occupy your brain space. They occupy your day. And if they don't, they should. You know what I mean? You should be thinking about them in between doing whatever work that you're doing. Now, if you're a doctor and you're doing brain surgery on somebody, don't be thinking about characters, okay? You be concentrating on what you're doing. But if you have time, which character do you want to spend the most time with is something that I always look at. And I encourage people because they occupy your mind. It's the ones that you sleep with. Seriously, when you're laying down, story is going through your head. Which characters are you wanting to spend most time with? That's how I kind of narrow down the stories that I work on. And I hope that helps. But really, that is the key for me, is which ones I want to spend the most time with. You know, also, there's seasons for certain stories. If you have a story that, you know, even might be relevant that you believe and you want to plug away at it, then just go ahead and make a decision to do that. And I would encourage you, make the decision. Your decision is powerful, man. When you make a decision that I'm going to start this and finish this, then when other things, because they can really be what they are, total distractions. Some people are thinking, oh man, I'm accomplished because I got 5 different projects going on at the same time. Well, no, they're just being distracted from the one project that they should be working on, you know, but that doesn't apply for everybody. Everybody's wired different, you know, but for my thing is I always look at which characters I wanted to spend the most time with and also which ones I'm most excited about, which ones I'm really geeked out. Man, I can't wait to dig into this story as opposed to this story. One is, it also could be which one is easier to write. Because there's some stories that are on the inside of you that are so ingrained on the inside of you that are longing to be told, that they're wanting to burst forth from your spirit. Seriously, they're wanting to jump out on the page. Go with that. But also make a decision to say, I'm going to write this and I'm going to complete it. You know, and when the other things start to surface with other projects you're working on, if you get something within your story, if you get something for another story, jot it down, but don't get too focused on that so that you can continue with what you decided to finish. You see what I mean? Because for me, success for me is to help you to finish your project, whichever project that is, you know? So I hope that helps. And Everly, your question?
Yes, I would like to ask if, can we just jot down points for our character or do we have to write it in paragraphs? Can we just jot down the points?
Jot down points for what?
The assignment.
The character development.
Character.
Yeah, you know what? I will maybe write something up for you and send it to you. Man, all this technology stuff, I'm doing it on my own. So sometimes my communication, seriously, I'm going to treat you guys like big kids. I will send you a reminder maybe the day before that we have class or something like that. But I am not about to be blowing up nobody's email. I hate when people do that. Oh, I want to take a free class. And next thing you know, I got 2 emails a day, 3 a day saying, hey, this and that, whatever. You're not going to get that from me. Okay. If you're serious about your project, you know, you write that down. But I will do what I can to try to accommodate that, Everly, you know. And can I say this real quick? If you guys receive any communication from me whatsoever, I am not going to be focusing on my grammar. I'm not going to be focusing on commas. I'm not going to be focused on nothing. I'm focused on communicating my message to you, because I am so picky about what I say, and it takes me forever sometimes just to write. If you have a question, I'm thinking, oh, I got to word it right because I'm teaching a writing class. Oh, please bump that. I'm just going to tell you what's up. So if you see me, any of my writings in emails, and you're like, dang, there's supposed to be a comma there. There's supposed to be a period there. Okay, you know what I mean? Focus on my message, okay? If you see me on Facebook and I'm blowing stuff up, focus on my message. Because if I start getting into my grammar and all that kind of stuff, then I'm not going to send it, because I'm so picky and so perfectionist about certain things, and to a fault too. And that I won't end up sending the message because it takes me so long to write. And I'm just, man, forget this, you know? And it is really easier for me just to say stuff. So if we ever have an opportunity to just kind of connect or whatever, it's easier for me just to say it than it is for me to write it, because it takes me so long. But Everly, I will see what I can do to try to accommodate that to, or Stephanie or Diana, maybe, because I know you guys are like organizers.
Can I offer a little bit of advice for new people?
Yes, real quick. And David, I'll get to you in just 1 second if you got a moment, sir.
When I did mine, I struggled as well. So I just opened a Google Doc and I just started typing the really easy things that I knew about myself, like my favorite color is green, my favorite movie is Jaws. And once you got the easy stuff out of the way, it made it easier to actually look below the surface, and you can kind of just leave it for the day and then come back to it and look at things and just be like, okay, so I know my favorite color is green, but why is my favorite color green? And then you can dig in and then you can expand on those points. And if it's just something as little as I've always liked the color green, then that's that. But if it's because something from your childhood, you can expand. But just get the easy stuff out first, and then you can get to the harder stuff.
Wonderful, Diana. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, that is wonderful. I appreciate that. Diana and Stephanie have been so helpful for me every single class that we've hung out together. We're going to become friends. We're going to become family. Unless you don't like me, then that's perfectly fine. I'll just keep talking and I will keep my distance or whatever.
Trevor, you are awesome. If I could get away
I think
with
you're
calling
awesome.
you
You guys are amazing.
It is hard.
You said you'd smile and kill my family.
guys.
You said you'd smile and kill my family. So you're definitely my friend.
I really did say that, huh? I'm like, I'm going to go morbid.
You were like, I'm going to kill your whole family.
Yes, but it's going to develop your character. It will. You know, hey, David, you got something, my friend? I can't hear you, brother.
Their hand raised?
Still
David,
no
we
audio.
Can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Mm-mm.
No one can hear
Is
you.
it plugged all the way in?
You can type it in the chat if you want. If you want to type it in the chat, you could do that.
If anyone's got a question, how we've done it in the past is just talk. If there's a spare moment, just talk. You don't have to wait or anything. That's something I've learned with Trevor.
And you'll get used to us because we're the Australians that interject a lot. So you will grow to get to know us.
Yes. And as long as you guys are getting something out of the class, you guys hang out. They taught me that as well. They're like, Trevor, if they don't want to listen to you, they'll just turn you off. And I'm like, okay. So we just kept going for another 2 hours, you know? So anyway, but I will keep class time to 1 hour to make sure I communicate what needs to be communicated. And Everly, did you get what something that you could work with as far as the character development thing?
Yes, I've got it.
Okay,
Thank
wonderful.
you.
I think that is a fantastic idea, because we will get on into character development, the individual elements about just your past and your history and your work and all those different things is what people typically do for character development, to say, now this is my character. But again, I always go back to what's lacking is the experience of that character that moved them. And I love what Diana said. It's like, okay, my favorite color is green, but why is that? You see, so that's awesome. Does anybody else have any questions?
I think there's a gentleman that has the little icon up that he has a question.
All right. How do you say your name, my friend? Oh, you're muted. Let me oh, it says ask to unmute you. So go for it.
No problem. Thank you so much. Just want to introduce myself. My name is Shitu Kumulukumba, and then I'm all the way from South Africa, Cape Town. And I'm so grateful to be part of this team. And Trevor, thank you so much to starting up this course. I really appreciate it. And then I believe that we can have a great network, because I've been working in the film industry for many, many years. We work on a lot of big movies, from Blood Diamonds and A Lord of the War. And then I've been working on set as a technician, also been writing as a video operator and editing. And I know that there are a lot of topics I've been talking. It's going to be great. It's going to help us all to grow with. And I just want to also mention that one of the very good tips for character development is trying to see as a computer. It's almost like a CD. Computer is being programmed. Your computer can do so much stuff, but whatever your computer does, what's being programmed on it. And then if we take in this principle and look into, we as a human being with nothing than just thought and ideas. You are what you think. And then you can, with this key, you can as well bring anything and then be able to understand that, sorry guys.
He's busy.
It's popular. I love that about the computer technology. I love that.
Okay, and then I think, yeah, this is very important. Just trying to understand like a CD, you know, and be also a hip hop musician, rapper, being kind of write a lot through all these years. And then I understand that when you create your character and trying to develop and trying to always put it like a CD, you know, program and put everything there, because the people always going to act and react to what they've been told. And then you can see, okay, this guy live on the street, what he's going to think. This guy grew up there, how he's going to be. But I know that we're going to create a nice network in 12 the 7 days of this course. And I believe a lot of great projects are going to come out of here.
That's
and then
awesome.
Also going to be great networking with all of you guys. But thank you so much. I'm really
thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate that input. That is absolutely right. You're creating these characters. Like I tell people, you have an opportunity to be God here. You know what I mean? This is your only opportunity, your only chance, you know, but you get to play God. You get to create your world, and you get to create your character based on their character development. And I love the way that he put that when he's like, you're programming your character. Okay. You're programming like a computer. It's a, you know, and so that's, you could tell the way, two different ways of people's thinking. He brought it one way in a sense of programming to create this character, where I'm looking at it obviously in a emotional and, you know, that type of deal. But for people that think differently, when you think about just, you know, creating, you're programming a character. I love that, because that really does give you a foundation, you know, of who this character is. Make sure you add that experience in there. Take the programming, add that experience in there, you know, make sure that they become alive. Okay.